Today we're going to be reviewing my art direction and design work from when I worked at Nike. I worked at Nike for 2.5 years. I put together a portfolio that we can go through and I can share what it was like being a designer there, the kinds of projects I was on, what the work was like. I've never seen anything like this on YouTube, which is why I thought it would be helpful. This is basically my portfolio at Nike. I try to make it really simple, really easy to read, like to strip down to as little words as possible, especially if I'm giving this presentation in person, because then they can just focus on the visuals. The latest work that I did was this project called Always On. It was for spring 2024. The main art direction behind it was that we had a catalog of things to sell that the marketing team presented us. So we had to sell shoes, but it wasn't just shoes, it was also apparel, sports bras. The idea was to make it less polished and more personable. The way that we did our art direction for this was we kind of created these like unique bedrooms based on the personas that the marketing team had presented us. Create this personal story of like how a person would wear these clothes in their day-to-day instead of it being just out of context. So like if you're seeing sports bras, sometimes you're not wearing a sports bra just to the gym. Sometimes you're wearing it like in between moments, in between activities. So this kind of like in between and more like visceral humanistic perspective was what we were trying to get at with this project. It came out and then I immediately started getting Pinterest ads with the photos that we took, which was so cool. The first project where I had like a pretty big hand in the art direction because I was sharing with our creative partners what it was, the vision was, and I was able to be there on set as well. On set, everything is kind of like coming together. It's like an alive project. All these choices are made beforehand, but then they're changed on set. So like if a model doesn't like something, we're open to changing it. If a stylist pulls like a new idea for like a look, then like it's nice to be flexible. So we had this kind of like monochromatic look in this like wood paneled room. She's also a trainer, so like we had a mix of models. This was a model and trainers. Lauren Schramm, she's a trainer, like a Nike trainer. So it was a good mix of people. And then we had like these really cool bathroom scenes. A lot of it got cut. Maybe I can show the photos in another video, but this cool vision of just like the women getting ready together, getting your outfit together in the mirror, like that kind of shared experience. This is the only photo we really got from that because a lot of them got canned. So that can be really hard with what I did at Nike was like these images live in like a million places. It's like, it's not just in retail stores or on the Nike.com site. It's like on social. It can be really tough about a really broad context all the time. This was a location that I found it was like this really cool cumbia dance hall. So the kind of idea and story behind it was like, how would you style Nike to like go dancing? Friend's room was really cool. I tried to pull, when I was giving the art direction to the set designer, I tried to pull elements of like the color palettes that the actual models and trainers like. I did some research on their Instagram. Just so many days of shooting. It was 3 days of shooting. Like one day was in a house, and then another day was at the Cumbia Hall, and then another day was at a nail salon, but oh my god, so many of those images got cut. I tried to also integrate, like with the styling and making these like sets and personas, we tried to integrate actual personalities. She was a DJ. Okay, I'm turning down the volume. So this can loop. Usually like our X deliverables are like 200, like 100 stills, 100 videos. Everything needs to be cut in like every dimension. Georgina's like this amazing jewelry designer that we were able to get out there. She's wearing Nike Tech. The tough thing about, let me turn on the volume for all these. The tough thing about working at Nike, it's a huge corporation. You copyrighted music. The music part is hard. You use uncopyrighted stuff normally. I think these were actually mixes. Post-production process was such a blur. The post-production process is so fast. Like the typical timeline for a project like this would be, I think we did the concepting and the planning for around like 2 months prior to the photo shoot, and then photo shoot happens, that happens within like a week or two, and then we come back, and then post-production is a matter of like 4 weeks, which seems like a long time, but for the scale that we have to do things at Nike, it's huge. You have to, like, what I do and what the other designers do on the team, post these projects. We have to oversee the edits. We have to make sure the color grading's okay. We have to make sure the vibe is good, basically. We have to make sure the product's being shown, that there's nothing like problematic or like, I don't know, weird going on with the lighting. You have to oversee all that, so you have to be in contact with all the editors, give notes. My mood boards are huge for this. I wonder if I can show them. I'll do that in another video. Literally like hundreds and hundreds of reference pictures. The first time I also made the shoot plan. So the shoot plan is basically like what amount of shots we have to get done, what angles it's gonna be, like what are the key products that we have, what's the model, like you're planning, you have like a whole deck that you make, preparing like, all right, we have 8 shots, it's in this location, we gotta get head to toe, we gotta get vertical, we gotta get horizontal, like laying all of that out. Next up, this was the first photo shoot that I ever went on. At Nike, it's pretty difficult to go on set, even if you work on the art direction team. I worked on like 7 projects, and I only was on set twice. So that was a challenge to learn how to do art direction without being on set and seeing like how it all works. So this was our bra campaign, like our sports bra campaign. And I had a bunch of logos that I had made that I was proposing for this project, but we had to follow suit within the larger like hierarchy of the company. So all those got X'd. This photographer is amazing, Emily Lipson. Nike likes to have all their bases covered, so we had to have our in-studio set, like with where it's really controlled, and then we also had an outdoor set where we showed the bras like in action. Dean is like an amazing trainer in LA. Some of the details of the bras, like make the products less sterile, because having just like a swoosh bra on can just feel like super branded, just not accessible to a regular person. Like how can we like make things more lived in and more wearable? So that was one of the challenges for the way that we would style things. So we would kind of try to do that with like the hair and the makeup, and the accessories. We would try to like have the model's actual jewelry that they liked wearing as a part, final output. I was pretty much shadowing the whole time, and then I helped with some social stuff. I will say, it's weird to see this because basically right after this project, because this job at Nike was so labor intensive and I was really struggling with some health issues. Like during this part of the project, during post-production, I had to go on medical leave because I was not doing well. During this process, I learned what was really important to me in terms of like long term. I'm very grateful that I was able to do this job, but I wasn't able to focus on my health. You need like a huge team to do, it's just like a large quantity of work, right? And so these were kind of the social applications. This was a fit check that I helped art direct, which is like nothing crazy, but like everything has to be considered. So even like social media, it's nice to have someone with like the art direction eye that's there. We had like a setup where we did behind the scenes in a separate thing. So it was pretty contrived. A lot of times you think like behind the scenes is just like whatever is behind the scenes, but with so much happening on these photo shoots where it's literally like 100 people, we found it actually to be really helpful to have like, we have the main shoot, the main capture that you need for like Nike.com, and then we had like this red vinyl flooring in like another room where we would shoot BTS content. the way that it was structured at Nike was I don't know how it is now, but they had a social team, but they didn't have designers for the social team. So the social team would have these like asks that they would want, and then we would have to design for the campaign, the larger campaign, and also do the social project I ever worked on. We hired a agency to do these graphics, and then I would go in and...
Lately, August for me has been letting go. We need to unlearn how we set our goals. I am enough.
This was 2021. So this was a long time ago. I feel like these were ones that I art directed, but it's super basic, you guys. And please just excuse, I'm gonna turn down the volume because like the stock music was so tough to work with. But the initial me figuring out my role in art direction at Nike was like through the social I had to do. And through this job, I learned how it's a real skill and a challenge to be able to communicate what it is you're looking for. So like communicating to agencies that are working with the people. Storyboarded this as well as like talked to editor about it. I made the logo for it, and all of it was my direction.
Having a stable base is really incredibly important no matter what movement you're doing. You need to be able to put your weight in your heel and know that it's not going to give out. My ankle's not rocking back and forth, and I can trust that shoe to keep my feet grounded as I lift the weight up, no matter how heavy it is. It's going to hold up, it's going to be durable in these fast, explosive movements. The lace lock, it's been a game changer. Literally lock the laces in and just not have to think about it. Stability, efficient, durable.
These were all of the Nike bras lockups that I made for the prior shoot that didn't end up going through. Just to show there's a lot of stuff that hits the cutting room floor that you just have to let go of, and that's part of the process. So this was kind of me playing around and just seeing what I thought would have looked good. I wanted to do like a mix of types. So I wanted something like strong and soft to convey what we were trying to convey with the bras, which is that they're like really high tech, but they're comfortable. And wrapping up everything, this is kind of what it looks like when you're laying out the shoot plan and the looks and you're planning everything. Behind the scenes, Mayan was our photographer. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you have any specific questions, just let me know. And I'd like to make more stuff like this. Thanks for watching.